how the technology has changed your life. And especially, we're going to be talking more for Jim, your husband. And go ahead and unmute and let us know what was going on before you found the patches, and then up to now.
Thank you. It's great to be here. So my husband, Jim, was diagnosed with a severe neurological decline about 4 years ago. And we began to try a lot of different modalities in an effort to help do anything to stop the decline. So we went out of country 4 different times and got IV stem cells that didn't make any difference. We did hyperbaric chamber that actually made things worse. We did ozone blood spinning therapy, hydrogen water. We revamped the diet and took out all the bad things from alcohol to Diet Coke to genetically modified foods, all of those things. And we added strength training and all of these efforts. We did a little bit of prescription meds, but not much, because there's really nothing that's that great out there for that. And he was napping at this point about 3.5 hours a day, and then also falling asleep at 7 p.m. at night while we were going to bed at 8:30. So this was like a lot of sleep through the day, really disengaged from conversations. It was just too challenging and exhausting for him. I think he just couldn't make the words. He couldn't find the words. He would ask the same questions 7 times in 3 minutes. He was no longer even trying to be funny. And that's very much a part of his personality, is to be funny. It's huge for him. He was unable to whistle anymore, which he's just a brilliant whistler. Like, it's like a musical instrument. Drum. He had lost his sense of smell 15 years ago, which we didn't know then, but we now know is an early sign, early warning sign. He was not getting very good deep sleep, which is a very critical thing for the brain, since that's when the toxins get flushed and the brain cleanses. So we were working really hard on deep sleep, from red lights to, making sure we didn't eat right before bed and all sorts of things. And that was not making any difference. We were still only getting about 15 minutes of deep sleep for him. My husband has always had a very significant bald spot since I met him, fairly large, and his hair was gray. His blood pressure was high, and they were talking about putting him on some blood pressure medicines, and I wasn't really happy about that. And neither were some of the doctors, because they needed blood up to his brain. So it was a little bit of a conflict. In fact, it was up to like 172/94 and 160/86. So pretty tough. All right. So then we started patching. And I mean, after trying about everything, I didn't have great expectations, I'll admit, but I was excited about the possibility. And he really didn't even know what I was doing. He was just like, sure, whatever. I mean, he's just a great, wonderful man. So I put these patches on him. And in the first day, he didn't nap. He didn't take that 3.5 hour nap. He did not fall asleep at 7 p.m. at night. All week he was like, and it's continued. So he was much, much more engaged in conversation. He wasn't 3 conversations behind. He was chattier. He was more with it. He was not asking me the same questions 7 times in 3 minutes, which is a godsend, because that's hard to always act like it's the very first time you've heard it and be as patient as you'd like to be always. He was not only funny, but he was flirty. His personality, I got my husband back, and that was just priceless. The second week, he recorded the best sleep we'd ever had. And we record this every single night, and I look at it, it was 1 hour and 25 minutes of deep sleep. So we went from 15 minutes to 1 hour and 25 minutes of deep sleep. At the 10-week point, we discovered on a trip back from Father's Day spending in San Diego that he was able to whistle to the music again and drum to the beat again. And that was exciting. In a normal checkup, we had his blood pressure noted it had dropped down to 135/87, from again 172/94 to 135/87, a 25 to 37% point drop. And then I also, this is just kind of a weird thing, but at the 4-month point, I noticed that he had a nodule about the size of a large marble underneath his forearm. It had always been there as long as I noticed, and then it just was gone. It just completely disappeared. So that was kind of interesting. At the 5-month point, he regained his sense of smell. This was something he'd lost 15 years ago. This is a huge neuro advance, right? So he regained his sense of smell, and that was really exciting. His bald spot has closed up, and he's got chestnut brown hair growing in, which I didn't ever know he had chestnut brown hair. It's always been either gray or blonde for the time I've known him. So that was really fun. So we don't get me wrong, we have a long way to go. He's still very much in neurological decline, but we have had these amazing improvements that make life so much better. He is living a higher quality of life. I am living a higher quality of life. And I'm just really grateful and hopeful for all that the patches can do and all that they have done.
Wow, Darlene, that is fabulous. That is so exciting to hear. And you know what? We can't wait to have you back on in maybe 3 months or even 6 months to hear more. And I do want to ask, which patches are you patching Jim with?
And I was afraid you would ask me, and this is going to just confound everybody, but every one of them, every single thing. I mean, he does the aromatherapy, he does every single patch, and so do I. And the only thing he's not doing is the lotion on the face. And I'm doing everything, and he's doing everything except that, because he doesn't really put lotion on his face. And we really started doing that from week 1. Because I looked at the list and all the things, and I'm like, yes. You know, after spending $10,000 for an IV, this was like, yes, we don't have time to wait. I don't have time to try like 2 patches now, and then let's add a few more. Let's throw the whole kitchen sink. Let's activate or optimize as much as possible all of his body, and all those foundational cells. So all of them.
That is so good. And I know you told me that the way that he had known that his smell came back.
Yes.
Story?
Yes. So in the very beginning, when we did start the aromatherapy probably 2 months in. We didn't start that right away. But I would spray his hand and tell him to smell it. And he would say, there's nothing on there. I would say, there's something on there. He goes, well, it's not working. And I'd say, just breathe it in anyway. Just breathe it in. You know, it's okay that you don't smell it. And he would do that. And then it was probably, I don't know, 5 months in, that he goes, oh, that smells nice. And I was like, wait, what? And so he actually finally smelled the aromatherapy, and he smells it now every day. And it's really exciting.